Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the RDA Central West Business Leaders Breakfast for 2021. And I'm really excited to be joined by the CEO of Orange City Council, Mr. Dave Waddell. Dave, welcome to breakfast.
Morning, Sam. How are you? Friday, feeling good?
Up and about, looking forward to the weekend. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's great to have you on as the first guest for 2021. Dave, you've been in the hot seat as the CEO of Orange City Council since September 2019. But for those that don't know, can you tell us a little bit about your journey into local government and what led you to this important leadership role within our region?
I can, Sam. So I'm an engineer way back, and I used to work for a company called GHD, which is a consulting firm. They're in town. I was working in Sydney, had 3 kids, little kids, busy Sydney life, working on major projects, and I couldn't help thinking there was more to life. And when an offer came up to run the GHD office in Orange, we leapt at it. So we came up here in 2008, and I had that job for a couple of years, and then I quit. And Annie and I said, let's stay here and let's make a life in Orange. So we did. Having quit a job, one needs to then get a job, and I had no idea what I wanted to do, and the job of Director of Development came up at Council, and I went for it and got it in 2009, so yeah.
Have you got a connection to regional New South Wales, or was it a big shift moving the family from Sydney into the Central West?
I did a lot of fishing, and I used to come up here and fish, so I knew Orange. Annie's sister lived here. They had a nursery here, so Orange was a place we knew. Annie knew it really well because she went to uni here, so it was not hard, and Orange is a beautiful place. So when we finally got here, it was just like, it was breathing again after a decade in Sydney. Yeah.
What have been the biggest changes that you've seen in Orange in the last 15 years or so that you've been back in the Central West?
Well, traffic is one, as you queue up in traffic on Cargo Road to come into town. The one I always talk about is the fact that when I came to Orange, if you wanted a coffee, you went to Old Bill's Beans or you went to Robert's Bakery. Now you go to the one of 48 outlets that have been approved by council, so that's the big change. I'm seeing a lot of people come back who grew up here, professionals coming back who've been in Sydney. That's the big change. I think people realise that they can work here, they can get a good job, or they can do their Sydney job and live here. So yeah. I think we're filling up our population.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with COVID and people being more understanding of working remotely, I think that plays well for our region. And the studies have shown that I think it's rural origin is an important contributor to deciding if people come back. It might not be the region that you grew up, but you're more likely to go back into a regional setting through your professional career. You said you worked in consulting in big projects for GHD. What skills from that role do you think, and your diverse experience that you had, have helped you transition into a career into local government?
Well, I think being an engineer and being a project manager were the 2 big ones. So you end up with really good organisational skills. Local government is a funny beast. One day I'll be talking to a ranger about dog attacks, and the next day I'll be talking to the water guys about how we get sustainable water. So you have to be organised, you have to have a broad understanding of how cities run. So I had those skills coming into it: project management, highly organised, and a good communicator was the one thing that I think was really important. You've got to get a message out when you're in charge of 550 staff. You've got to be doing the same thing, and you've got to get everyone on board. So yeah.
Now, I guess all those traits are important. I guess that kind of dovetails nicely into another question. The City Council is a major employer for this region. What's one of the biggest challenges for you managing such a large staff base? But on the flip side of that, what's one of the rewarding aspects of that?
Well, I'm easily bored, so if I go to reward, the reward is...
So I've got to keep you engaged.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, we're doing well. So the breadth of what we do is the great thing about having 550 staff and this job. I love it. You can if you're bored with something, you can go and do renewable energy or water. That's the real thing. The flip side is, with 550 staff, how do you make a childcare worker think they're on the same team as a guy who's on the concrete crew, or a officer who's sitting out here on a desk? That's the challenge. And it sounds cheesy, but a lot of people say one team, one dream. That's what I've been trying to do, is We all love Orange. That's why we work for council.
And I guess that's the conduit that brings everyone together. Although there's all these different arms of the organisational structure, ultimately they're all for the betterment of our region and of Orange, which is important.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. One of the things that we've noticed in recent weeks has been a massive uptick in visitation to Orange and the Central West. You might be able to tell us a little bit about maybe some of those numbers around visitation. But one of the things that's been great for local business, as I said, has been all that foot traffic coming through the CBD. One of the projects that council has kicked off recently has been some of those great historical photos around the CBD. Can you tell us about that project and where it originated from?
Well, yeah, if you talk about numbers first, I think my favourite number is that the mountain gets 70,000 visitors a year, but in 2020 there were 150,000 went to the top of the mountain, and that's off the traffic counts. And then you see that trickle down to town and businesses and things. Yeah, the historical photos was a response to the fact that the retail sector was struggling, and we had empty shops, landlords unwilling to drop the rents. You know, it was a tough environment, and we bought 21,000 negatives from the Central West Daily a couple of years ago, and they're just sitting out the back. And I thought, well, why don't we do what some other towns have done and start making an offer to landlords that we'll fill your window. Bit of resistance, but once they started, they really took off. I love it. The other thing you'll remember is when the hoarding was up for the old Myer building, they put historical photos up, and I just thought, we got to do that.
Now we're going to hit Dave with the Fast Five, which is a fantastic part of the Business Leaders Breakfast. Dave, last book you read or movie you watched?
I watched White Tiger on Netflix 2 nights ago. Really good. Really, really good.
Out of 10?
7.
Okay, not bad.
Not that good.
Favourite holiday destination in regional New South Wales?
Snowy Mountains, full of trout, full of skiing, full of bicycling. Fantastic.
Okay, yep, nice. Love a bit of trout fishing. That's probably another topic for another day. Hidden gem of the Central West. So this could be a person, a place, or a venue. So when you have visitors coming into Orange or our region, you take them there and they're blown away.
Well, I just love the mountain. I love the Towak Valley. You go in that Towak Valley, sit on Waddell and have a glass of wine. It's gold.
Sounds like a lovely thing to do this weekend for any of our viewers. Favourite sporting code or team?
I like rugby union, and I like Randwick because I used to live there.
Okay, Randwick,
suburban. Still stick with Randwick.
Good, love that. Hidden talent or hobby?
Well, I play the bagpipes. I started learning when I was 50, and I'm getting better every year.
Is that from a low base, or?
What do you mean?
Getting
better from a low base?
Yes.
I've done Anzac Day March three times.
Okay.
I'm a serious talent.
That is a hidden talent.
In my opinion.
I'm very impressed. Now, there's been huge interest, as we've touched on this morning, from visitation to our region. There's also been huge interest to our region from businesses looking to relocate or moving to our region. Why is it such a sound investment, in your opinion, moving to the Central West and moving your business to Orange? And what support can the City Council provide to interested businesses out there?
Why should you move here? I was trying to think of this the other day. You should move your business here because your staff will be happy. They will have a life. They will breathe. They will raise kids. We've seen a few companies come here in the last decade. I'm thinking of Focus. You know, the workforce loves it. Happy workforce. You know, you do well. What can council do? Look, we'll do all the usual things, but I always describe us as the glue that brings all the different stakeholders together that can help your business. So, you know, we can help you with land or staff, but we're the glue.
Yeah, that's actually good way to describe it. And you're right. I think through the challenges of 2020 and now into 2021, businesses have realised the importance of good staff. They're the backbone of any good business. Yep. And I think you're right. If you've got your staff more invested, your staff happier and in a good space, they're going to be more invested in your business, which I think is fantastic. One of the projects that we run here at RDA Central West is a focus on youth leadership and mentoring. But what's a great piece of advice a previous mentor of yours has given you, Dave, that stayed with you in your professional career?
Well, yeah, it's an interesting one. So many people when you're 56 pass through your career. Probably an old boss of mine when I was about 30 said, sometimes, Waddell, I think you believe your own bullshit. And it was very wise because there's a real balance between being overconfident and not confident enough. And occasionally I think of that and I just breathe in and breathe out a bit.
Well, I don't know if we've got a dump button, but
we'll sorry about that.
Yeah, no, look, we'll keep it in there. I guess as a regional leader in an important leadership position that you have, as I've touched on, 2020 was unprecedented year, and 2021 looks like there'll still be a few challenges. But what have you learnt about yourself and your leadership style during that period?
You have to be a good communicator. You have to, in a sort of, not a crisis. It wasn't really a crisis. It was a difficult time and a scary time for a lot of people. You have to communicate. You have to be calm. You have to get everyone on the same page. Very proud that we've got 550 staff. We didn't lose one. So, just be calm and get the message out.
I actually think that's absolutely right. Old footy coach of mine said confidence breeds confidence, and I think if you're a leader and you're calm, that kind of flows through to your other staff, and then that kind of gives them surety and certainty, and I think that's good for your business. We've touched on a couple of great projects that the council are rolling out and are being delivered in our region, but what's one of your proudest achievements to date in your local government career in Orange?
I think the Shirley subdivision, when I was Director of Planning, was the first time council got on the front foot and designed a subdivision and didn't let the developers just run the show. And we've got a really structured subdivision out there. We've got tree plantings. We've gone back to the grid road pattern. I think when Shirley develops, everyone will see the difference between a good subdivision and a less than desirable subdivision.
Yeah, well, that's probably the one side of the coin. Are there any missed opportunities or unfinished business?
Hundreds. I don't think Orange has yet reached its full potential. So to answer that question, life is a series of missed opportunities, but then it's the ones that go well that really mark you.
And they're the ones that motivate you, I guess.
Exactly, There's so much more to do in Orange.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that leads in nicely to my next question. Looking into the crystal ball, what's your prediction for Orange and the Central West over the next 12 to 18 months?
12 to 18 months, I think we will actually probably see a downtick in tourism to something more sustainable, which I think is okay. People just coming here for the sake of getting in the car. I think we'll see an uptick in quality tourism, and we'll see carloads of people coming up to have that country experience, and we'll see an influx of more people who want to come and live in a quality place.
Well, there's no better quality place to live or visit than Orange in the Central West.
True.
Fantastic to have you here this morning as our special guest to kick off the Business Leaders Breakfast for 2021. Dave, what's the best way that viewers and listeners that might be listening into the podcast can engage with you or the council to learn more about the council priorities into 2021 and beyond?
Well, you could come to a council meeting, which is live streamed every second Tuesday. I think we do podcasts every week, which is called the Orange Podcast on our website. Website's pretty good. Just come and see us too. We've got a visitor centre. They're fantastic. They'll tell you what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, we'll put the link up for the Orange podcast and the visitor centre contact details. But look, until next time, Dave, thanks so much for your time this morning. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. Get down to Robertson Park this afternoon for that live music. Great opportunity. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch you next time on the Business Leaders Breakfast.